30 мені позвонила донька з Харкова і сказала, що нас бомблять, що почалася війна.
On February 24th at 4:30 in the morning, my daughter called me from Kharkiv and she said we are being bombed.
Вже хотіли розуміти, де і як ми будемо працювати в цих реаліях.
So we had a clear understanding that this is not any special operation as it was announced by the enemy. So this is a full-scale war. We were just discussing what kind of actions we can take to continue our work in the current under current circumstances.
З понеділка ми перейшли на дистанційну роботу.
And starting from Monday, after the start of the war, we moved to the distant remote work.
Як всі, чи знають, вже всі знали, кажу, практично всі в один час дізналися. І перше питання, і що далі ми робимо?
So it was like the first shock because they started looking at the news resources and they realized that it's really happening. And the question was, what do we do now? What will be our next step and what should we do and how should we behave? Because nobody expected that.
Після такого шоку, він не був довгий, але мене втішило як редактора, що ніхто не сказав, що ой, ні, я боюся, і я не піду на роботу. Всі сказали, що я боюсь, але їдемо, там побачимо.
That shock didn't last long. And after this first shock, she was talking to her reporters and she was very happy that nobody said, nobody said that we are afraid and we will leave the country. So everybody came to work and they continued to work.
Два такі випуски, один через тиждень у нас виходили, такого довідкового плану для нашого покоління.
So when they decided to continue the work of the newsroom, they moved to online, but after a week they realized that many people relocated to the villages, to the countryside, where they might not have internet, especially elderly people, their audience, their targeted audience of these two newspapers, national newspapers, they would probably have no information at all what is happening in the country. And they decided to do these special editions, like for 2 weeks in a row, 2 editions, one on the first week and the one on the second week. And they provided important information for people where to find a shelter, how the banks are working, so the situation on the border, where can you get the assistance if you need, for people who don't have incomes, for families with low income, and how to get pension, how to get your money during the war. So these 2 editions were focused on Odessa in the war circumstances, and they kind of generated information from all their sources that they used to publish in 4 newspapers. So they combined all important information and they made just compiled very concise edition for people to be able to read the important and necessary information during the wartime.
Надихати для того, щоб люди там, не знаю, щоб перемога настала ще швидше.
So her main responsibility, main challenge was to support her people, to provide them safe conditions for work, and the second responsibility was information. So their mission is to provide information and inspire people. So even the human stories that they were writing about volunteers, they would inspire these volunteers to continue. So this type of stories. But of course, they try to be in their place, do their job to the abilities they can in the moment, taking the conditions, and they try to communicate with their readers, and the feedback that they get in the social media shows that people care and they need this information, and they try to broadcast the messages for people to remember that the war is going on in the country and it's not safe even here in Ivano-Frankivsk, and they should look at the places where shelters are, and they should listen to the announcements and go to the shelters when the air raid siren is on. So they try to broadcast these messages to the people.
Our focus shifted, so we do pay a lot of attention to the war issues and its implications on the city, its impact on the city, on citizens, and how citizens also may help win faster. So that's where our focus shifted.
Невеликими, але і ми зрозуміли, що ми не одні, і почали воювати. Кожен мав свій фронт. Наш фронт був такий, є.
And when we realized that there is so much help coming from different channels, so the Association of Independent Publishers was fundraising money. They were providing some protective equipment. They were also helped us upgrade our video equipment, and they gave some funds. So we realized that we are not alone. We are not left alone, and that everybody has his own fighting place, right? We cannot be in the active combat, but we can fight on the informational space and informational front. So we decided to continue with our mission and continue with helping our community.